Okay, recently on the Telegram chat group, Mangro's Telegram chat group, I conducted a poll to ask people, if we're going to be having a podcast on the topic of work, what are the topics they would like to be covered and talked about? And three things came up, and these are in the order of so-called preference. First is the meaning of work. Second is avoiding burnout. And third is work-life balance. So today we're going to talk about these three things. All right. So be ready for a long, long night. All right. Meaning of work. How to have meaning in work? How about you, Vincent? Do you find meaning in work? I'm sure you do, right? You're a counselor. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, of course. I mean, to find meaning in works, of course, you need to know your purpose, your passion. Yeah. And also in terms of what is important to you. Yeah. To me, I think for me, it's freedom. Freedom to make choices is very important. And also there is this personal and professional growth. And of course, I mean, to have a group of like-minded people working together. And at the end of the day, I mean, all of us are happy and also like get some recognition. That will be good. And the most important thing is the impact. I find that the impact, to whatever community or the people that I work with.
How about you, Daniel? Have you found meaning in work? Is there meaning to your work right now?
Yeah, I'm a social worker. So I guess it was meaning that drew me to work. I like what Vincent spoke about impact. I think impact is a large part which I derive meaning from. However, there are sometimes weeks where we do a lot, we spend a lot of time with clients, but we may not necessarily see the impact. So I think and I've learned in myself that depending on that may not be the most sustainable thing. Instead, what is the intrinsic value of work to me? For me personally, is uh trying to lessen the existence of human suffering in families, in individuals, right? So we do a lot of mental health work, of family violence work, in youth, right? I think that's where I derive meaning from, that intrinsic like commitment and value.
That's nice. That's nice. To reduce human suffering. Wow. It sounds like reducing or eliminating poverty and, human trafficking and
Yeah.
very big goals, very big, lofty, and of course, very essential goals. There was a NUS and Institute of Policy Studies survey in 2022, and they found that more than 6 in 10 PMETs, professionals, managers, and agreed that their work is meaningful, which means their work makes a positive difference. And I think it's very similar to what you're talking about. And I think that gives the work meaning, right? When you feel that there is a positive impact, whether on an individual, on a society, or something, right? That reminds me of this kind of a story. I'm not sure. Have you heard of it? The three masons, there are three bricklayers, right? Somebody was walking along the street and he came across the first bricklayer, a mason. And so this guy asked this bricklayer, "What you doing?" And the bricklayer, very grumpy, very tired, said, "What do you think I'm doing? I'm just laying bricks one on top of the other." And then the second bricklayer, was asked the same question, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm building a wall." And then there came the third bricklayer and says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm building a cathedral." So maybe the two of you are like, the third bricklayer, right? Not looking at the minute details of the work. Oh, I'm just putting one brick on top of the other, and I'm doing it the whole day. The second guy is much better. It's a little better, I'm building a wall. Well, at least he sees a bigger picture. But the third one, I guess, is the best. He sees the future, right? When I built this wall and then another wall and another pillar, in the end of this, all this place is going to be a cathedral. But there's a twist to this story. So work can be meaningful, right? When you're able to see the end, when you're able to see how this is going to be, the final product and how it's going to impact or change this whole place, whether it's a town, a village, a city, a society. But let's say it is a bricklayer. It says, yes, I'm building a cathedral, but I'm of a different religion, right? I don't even believe in God. I'm an atheist, right? So sometimes the work that we're doing, it doesn't align with our own values. And so, yep, we can't find meaning in it.
Yeah, I think finding the right values or align to your values is very important. Yeah, and as much as I want to, I mean, like last time when I was working, yeah, I mean, I have certain things that are important to me, but somehow the organization that I work with doesn't really align. Yeah, and that's why I chose my own path.
Yeah.
And that's where I am right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I used to think that, oh, it's like a die, right? You must align with your personal values. I have the privilege of working in a job that does align my personal values. Working under a boss, working under supervisors who are quite similar in terms of personal values. However, I just look at my dad. Um, yeah, he had to pay the bills lah. Yeah, he really had to pay the bills. And as I look back on his life, I realized that he sacrificed so much for his family, and that
Mm.
was what gave him meaning. And he worked like 12, 13 hours in the hot sun because he was a construction safety supervisor. Very not a very good hourly rate. Like his hourly was quite bad. So he had to put in extra hours to provide for the family. But the complete self give, I mean, that was very meaningful to witness. And I think for him, yeah, he had to do it for his family lah. So sometimes it doesn't align in the actual occupation, but it aligns with our responsibility as men, as fathers, for him specifically, or it could be something else, right? Like it could be something else. It may not be in the job, but the job is a means to the end.
I don't know if you know this guy, Seth Godin. Quite well known, quite high
Mm.
profile. He has written a lot of books on marketing and leadership and things like that. Recently, as in a couple of years back, a few years back, he did a worldwide survey. He asked 10,000 people in 90 countries to describe the conditions, all right, at the best job they ever had. Describe the conditions. And so they came back to the responses, and the top four are these. Number one, I surprised myself with what I could accomplish. So they said, wow, I could actually do this. So I guess it's maybe the environment, the kind of culture in a company that encourages excellence, that encourages maybe creativity and innovation. The second one is I could work independently. And I think a lot of people like this also. I can do try things that I want to do and be given the opportunity to do that. The third one is the team built something important. So this is not just working alone, but working together with the team and producing something that is significant. And the third one is people treated me with respect. Wow. So these are the top four, out of 10,000 people, the responses from 90 different countries. These are the top things that they say. These describes the best job they ever had. How about salary? Getting paid a lot. Where do you think it came in?
Not under the top 10, should be within the top 10.
Which one? Within or outside of the top 10?
I would think within. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
but
about you, Daniel?
I mean, Parson just said the top four is not there. Maybe the fifth one lah. I think top five.
Well, I don't know if you'll be surprised. It's number 12.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
then
right,
I'm
number
very
12.
curious about the number 5 to number 11.
Yeah, you can go and Google, all right? It's in the website somewhere, it's in the internet somewhere, right? Yeah. And then I think you read about this guy recently and came out in the papers also. Ashish Kumar, right? The civil servant who retired at age, what, 31?
Yeah.
Yeah.
31.
What do you think about him? I mean, do you envy him that you are able to retire at age 31?
Yeah, of course. But then what is this meaning of really retired? Yeah, then already retired, don't need to do any work and get paid somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the whole story. I think we don't know the whole story, but
Yeah.
reading that article, it seems that he is not employed in that sense because
Mm,
he said, life is so short, and to be working under somebody, to be employed, right, and be told what to do, this and that. He says that's not the way to live, lah. And so that's
mm,
why he planned and kind of carved his way out. And he said, I retired because life is brutally and hilariously short, and I can't find it in me to spend a second of it doing something other than what I love. And what does he love? All right. What he's doing now, he says, I read, I write, and occasionally he uploads onto his YouTube channel. And he has a YouTube channel, and what he posts up there is basically classical music. I think, wow, interesting. All right. And so he took up badminton and long distance hiking. Doesn't sound he's working and getting paid. Maybe his YouTube channel is making some money from it. But other than that, yeah.
mm,
Yeah, I saw his YouTube channel. There's like it's in the 100,000 views, and there's multiple videos. So I think the engagements are quite bountiful. But I think one thing that allows him to do something like that, this guy, I mean, he did well in school. He got a government scholarship. Actually, the minute you get government scholarship, you can play your investments right. You can uh achieve financial freedom while working for a few years quite quickly. I mean, if you solely invest, you don't have any other dependents. So yeah, I mean, he said he came from a rather stable family. And one other thing that he has decided on is okay, like he won't have children, he won't have married and won't have children, and he's also very frugal. Like he doesn't spend on new clothes or whatnot. So I do, I mean, I do acknowledge that what I envy actually is the freedom of time. Like that, his time is really his own. Like for me now, I'm fitting all that I want to do in life between like 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and then on the weekends, like sometimes. So I do envy that. Um, but I also have planned to have a family, have a plan to support other families who are in need. So yeah, I still gotta work. Still gotta work. Yeah.
yeah. I think if not wrong, I read somewhere like his lifestyle, like he's spending a month like about 1,000 plus. Yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
considered quite low. I think the lifestyle that yeah, chasing after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think if he's planning to remain single for the rest of his life, then I guess yes, I think he can continue doing this. But for the rest of us, right, I think we want to be a family man, a family person, and uh, doing meaningful things. And I think yeah, we will have to take a different trajectory. So to sum up, again, this thing about meaning in life. I don't know what's the best way to look at it, maybe, but I look at it this way, I guess the way to know the meaning of work, for example, the meaning of work or anything, any part of your life, maybe it's to simply ask yourself this question. What would you or what would your life be without it? What would be the impact on you or on your life when you don't have it? So, for example, Daniel, you're now a social worker. Let's say if you don't have this job, all right, you're no longer a social worker. You're not able to be a social worker. What would you miss?
Mm. I would miss well, it's hard to say I would miss when I'm in it now, but I think
Not
I
not
would
report
miss
writing, right?
yeah. Now when you're in it, it's like sometimes you think, well, why did I even choose this profession? It's so tiring sometimes. But I would think that I will miss having a job that really aligns to my personal values. And I'm actually getting paid for it. So I do feel that it is meaningful work that I'm getting paid for. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Vincent? What would you miss if you are not a counselor anymore?
I mean, I will miss with interaction with people, yeah, with my clients, yeah. And then because when I work with my clients, when they see them, I mean, moving forwards, yeah, and getting better in their life, I mean, that is the satisfaction, yeah, and see them, I mean, okay, whether in their personal life or in their marriage, yeah, I feel very happy about. But if let's say, even that's why sometimes when I'm not working, I feel so sian. I'm not meeting my client and say, hey, oh, something, yeah. Yeah, I think I better go and arrange some meeting with my friends.
Are you sure it's not that you're missing the feeling of being needed?
Mm, that's an
Just
interesting
joking.
question. Yeah. It may.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like a savior kind of mentality, lah. That one would be, lah. Oh, but of course, it's in
I
terms.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
in
think I
terms
will
of.
admit that. Yeah, I do have that sometimes that feeling. How come nobody's
Mm.
calling me? How come nobody's making an appointment to see me?